The Portland Trail Blazers have had one of the more interesting off seasons. First off, I thought they did a fantastic job in the draft. They got potentially the best player in the draft, depending on Wemby's health situation. But then Dame Lillard decides he wants a trade, and the Blazers GM has decided not to trade him yet, even though he only wants to go to one destination. It makes sense, but I mean, at this point, just trade the man. He's been loyal to your franchise for so long. Scoot Henderson, Chris Murray, Ryan Rupert. I think that is a fantastic draft class. We're going to get into detail about them. They give Jeremy Grant a bag. Holy cow. Josef Nurkic is still going to be here, although he could be involved in a potential Damian Lillard trade. And they aren't really left to rebuild around their young core of guys like Anfernee Simons, Shadon Sharp, Scoot, Chris Murray, among others. So we will talk about all that and more in today's video. Make sure to the like button and leave me a comment down below as it will help us out in the YouTube algorithm. Now let's go ahead and get started. But first, if you are one of the 97% of my audience that is not subscribed, go fix that real quick. I mean, obviously, if you've made it a minute into the video, something's working. Just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Now let's go ahead and get started. Looking at the draft class, and yeah, they get Scoot at 2, best player available, or at 3. He was the best player available at 2, don't get it twisted. Highest floor in the class, could potentially be a generational type player. Would have loved my Charlotte Hornets to get him. I mean, he's a franchise point guard. Simple as that. So, they can rebuild around Scoot now. This draft class kind of reminds me of the MJ draft class, where the Blazers ended up with Sam Bowie, although definitely I'm hoping Brandon Miller for my Hornets is pretty good. Now, Scoot, 16.5 points, 6.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists, and he's already been playing in the G League system, so he's used to the three-point shot. So I think, sometimes we see college players coming in struggling with that adjusted three-point gap. That's something I never really thought about, and then it's like, oh yeah, well duh. Obviously that'd help him out a little bit. So he's going to, Jaden Hardy kind of made me realize that. So hopefully he can be as efficient as Jaden Hardy as a rookie, because that would get him somewhere. Chris Murray, 6'8", 215, great defender for his size, can really move his feet with that big frame, and I feel like he's going to be a big-time piece here in Portland as well. He averaged 23 points a game at Iowa. Now, Iowa is famous for having guys score a lot of points and then, not really fit in the NBA. Luka Garza, prime example of that. But I think he's going to be a great 3-and-D, and if he's anything like his brother, who I actually see, obviously, they're twins. You see a lot of similarities in them. I think he's going to turn out a lot like Keegan. Now, Ryan Rupert was elite value at number 43. He is a project pick, but he's already an elite defender because of how he can move laterally, use his wingspan at 6'8" with like a 7-foot-something wingspan. He's a great defender already. He's been in the NBL, so he's been playing pros. The offense, it will come down the line. I feel like if you can just get him to start knocking down three balls, he's going to be an elite 3-and-D wing, and that's all that you can ask for at number 43. And like I said, it's time to deal Dame Lillard. He has been so loyal to this franchise for the last 10 plus years. Has it been 13 years? Maybe this will have been his 13th season, but it's time to trade him. He wants to go to Miami, so do him right. He's done so well for your franchise. Do him right. Send him on to Miami and let him be happy for the last few remaining days of his career. Also, you'll be getting off a $60 million contract for a 36-year-old. So it's not all bad if you're trading Dame. And you have this elite young guard trio. We've talked about Scoot Henderson coming in from the G League Ignite. I'm very high. Oh my goodness, I can't talk. Very high on Scoot Henderson. Anfernee Simons. You look at what he did last year, 21.1 points and 4 assists. He's looking like a young star in the making. He has, ever since coming in from IMG, that was a big time, late first round, hit for the Blazers. Really learning from Dame Lillard, 45% from the field, 38% from 3 this year. And you see a lot of similarities in the two's game. So I feel like Anfernee Simons is going to have a big-time year for the Blazers this year. Also averaged about 3 rebounds in 35 minutes per game. And then the final guy here, Shadon Sharp, who I believe was my number 2 prospect in last year's draft. I was high on him. He averaged 10 points and 3 rebounds as a rookie. But unlike the Paulos and the Jabari Smith Jr.'s of the world, he was not given the reins to an offense. So in 22 minutes, he put up 10 points, 3 boards on surprisingly good efficiency. I think Shadon Sharpe has a long future in the NBA. Maybe I could be wrong, but he's got all the tools, and he shot at 47% from the field and 36% from three. Like I said, surprisingly efficient for a guy coming straight from high school, essentially, to the NBA. Now, the big money that they dealt out, like I said, Jeremy Grant he's here for a while. 5 years, $160 million for a guy that put up 20.5 points a game, 4.5 rebounds, and 2.5 assists per game, while not really playing that much defense whatsoever. But he was extremely efficient. 48% from the field, 40% from three, 0.8 steals, 0.8 blocks. Very gifted scorer is Jeremy Grant. Will be 29 years old next year, and he'll be a good piece you can keep around for the next few years. I don't think anybody's going to want that contract, honestly. They went out, they tried to get Draymond. That might have been the last straw for Dame, was that Draymond went back to the Warriors. They bring back Matisse Thybulle, 3 years, $33 million. I would have loved Matisse Thybulle on the Mavericks. He would have been the perfect piece, but he's, yet again, another good young piece they can keep in Portland to continue to build and develop that young core for the future, because Dame is the past at this point, and it's a new era in Portland. Now let's take a look at the lineups for next season. Without Dame Lillard in a Blazers lineup for the first time in a really long time, however, you still have two really, really talented guards. Three, honestly, with Shadon coming off the bench. I think I might have been saying his name wrong the whole time. Y'all will probably be flaming me in the comments for saying his name wrong. It's just the southern accent kicking in. But Anfernee Simons and Scoot Henderson at the 1 and the 2. And then you got Matisse Thybulle at the 3. Matisse is an elite defender, and he can knock down the 3 ball. Scoot, decent defender. He's really quick. Got all the tools to be a good defender. Anfernee Simons can score it. Scoot can score it. Jeremy Grant can score it. Nurkic, he's down there to get boards and to put back layups, essentially. I guess he's an average defender. He's just an overall average big man. Nothing really to get excited about, but, he's solid there in the middle of the paint. And then you take a look at the bench unit for the Blazers. I threw Tyler Hero in here because I think, as well as the rest of the NBA world, that Portland and Miami are going to make a trade for Dame, and Hero's going to have to be involved. Maybe they send him a Nikola Jovic as well. Maybe it's Caleb Martin, capitalizing on his elite playoff run. We'll see what happens. But Shadon Sharpe, I don't even know at this point. He's in there at the backup 2. Chris Murray at the backup 3 I think is going to be really good. He's a guy that can step onto an NBA court and make an impact from day one straight out of college. Eubanks there, Drew Eubanks off the bench. For some reason I wanted to call him Zach Eubanks. Maybe because he looks a little bit like Zach Collins. And then Ryan Rupert, threw him in there at the backup 3. But they also have other guys with more NBA experience, such as Nasir Little, who I want Nasir Little to have a big year. I want him to be given his fair chance. I feel like he hasn't been given that so far. And then Trendon Watford as well. You got Keon Johnson as well off the bench. But yeah, this will be an interesting year for Portland. Their first year in a long, long time without Dame Lillard in that lineup. It'll be interesting to see. I think this is an Anfernee Simons breakout year. Scoot Henderson's a guy that can come in and immediately make an impact, although we did see him get hurt in the Summer League. However, he was good in the minutes that he played. Shadon Sharpe, expecting a big year out of him. I just want the young guys to be able to play, and maybe they can stay a little bit competitive if they bring in a Hero. But we will see. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Let me know your thoughts on the Portland Trail Blazers and their offseason so far. Also, let me know your thoughts on Dame Lillard trades. So make sure to like button and hit the subscribe button if you did enjoy today's video at any point. And with all that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video.